Hey Foot Geeks fans, today we want to talk about a Swiss product that we were asked to review. It's called the Extend. And you can see right in here, it says X10D, so that stands for Extend. And it's a shoe that's supposed to help you improve your posture when walking, as well as improves the strength of your feet. Okay, let's go through some of the features of this particular product. Now, there's a few things to keep in mind with the X10 Five, which is this particular shoe. If you can see it right there. There we are. That's the X10 Five. So it has a very strong heel count on the back. This is very, very firm, very solid in general. And it doesn't move very much, which is great, especially because in this particular shoe, you want to keep on the sole properly. So you don't want to have the heel shifting too much, so that you can make sure you strike properly in this particular product when you're coming down on the heel. And then obviously not allow the foot to potentially shift off the sole when you're walking. It is a slip-on shoe. So as you can see, there's no laces on there. It does have two elastic bands that come across the top right here. And those are a little bit stretchy. There's definitely some give in here. And it does fit a little bit wide for a narrow foot, which I have. So I had to make some modifications to make sure I could wear the shoe properly. I put a tongue pad in here to tighten it and the top of the shoe, and I also put some extra insoles in the bottom. So there was plenty of, quite a bit of extra space in the toe box to accommodate that. And I didn't feel like the shoe was overly tight after I did that. But I put about an 1/8 inch of padding in the bottom to make the shoe work properly. Lengthwise, it fits pretty true to size. This one here is a size 47, which is about 31 centimeters. And that fits, a size 12 quite readily. I'm about a size 12. So that seems to be pretty true to size in terms of its measurements, maybe a little bit on the short side. So you may want to buy a size up. But it does have removable insoles as well, which you can take out. Now, obviously, that would allow you to put orthotics in there. But as we will discuss a little bit later in the video, that's not necessarily something you want to do in this product. Other than that, it is a strong, firm sole. It's actually pretty firm through the forefoot. I wouldn't say it has much of a rocker profile, so it's definitely not necessarily the greatest product for somebody that has hallux rigidus, because of the fact that this is not going to rock off for you, and as a result, you're going to have to be able to flex your toes to be able to move through the shoe a little bit better as well. Now, one cool thing about this product is that it has a very unique sole profile. And we've discussed in a previous video on how to walk properly that the idea of the foot movement is to come down on the heel right here on the lateral side. So that's the outside of the heel. Walk along the outside of the foot, come across the ball of the foot, and then push over the big toe. So that's really the purpose of the natural walking motion. And that's pretty much what they've done here. Now, they put on the shoe itself, if you can read this, it says, "Walk the line." Okay, so that's not a reference to Johnny Cash, the man in black, even though this is a black shoe, but instead it's a reference to the line that you want to be walking on. And this is the line right here, right? So you can see there's actually a line that goes along the bottom, which you can see that pattern right here that you're supposed to walk along. And that means you strike on the outside of the heel, come along the side, move across the ball of the foot, and push over here. And then the reason that they've taken away, and I'm not sure if you can see that in the video here, but you can see there's actually a section right there under the arch that's completely cut out. Okay, so the reason they did that is so that when you're walking, you naturally have to correct for pronation, which is the inward rotation of the foot that gets you onto the big toe. But if you're overpronating, which means you're actually leaning in too soon, one of the things that this shoe is going to cause you to do is it's going to cause you to lean inward. And then therefore, you're going to have to work on your arch strength and your foot musculature to try to bring your weight onto the outside. Now, what's cool about this shoe also is that you have the ability to really position yourself nicely on the heel, because it does have a little bit of an extra platform for the heel bone, so that you can obviously put some weight there, but it does have the platform also for the little toe joint and the big toe joint right here, so that when you're rebalancing your foot and putting pressure on those three prongs of the foot, which we call the tripod or quad pod of the foot, discussed in a previous video as well. We'll link to that down below so you can kind of learn a little bit more about that. But the idea obviously is to balance your weight on the big toe joint, little toe joint, as well as the heel. So big toe joint, little toe joint, and the heel is where you want to balance your weight. Now, if you do that, you're naturally going to have to raise up your arch to be able to keep your foot on those three spots. If you allow your foot to roll out or roll in too much, you're going to be putting more weight either on the outside or obviously the inside of the shoe, right? And if you do put it on the inside of the shoe, which is about probably 70 to 80% of the population that has a tendency to want to kind of pronate and roll in a little bit more excessively, what happens is your shoe is actually going to cause you to lean in more. And that, if you're not focused on walking properly, is going to make your legs and feet more tired. And that's really the purpose of the shoe, is to encourage you to walk better and therefore help with the alignment of your body. Because if you're walking more appropriately, shorter step, heel to toe kind of movement, it's going to improve your walking gait, and obviously as a result you will stand taller, right? So you have to be more focused on the way that you walk, but at the same time, if you're not, the shoe is going to let you know that. Now, there's a few things that I think would be awesome about, great about this shoe is that obviously I would love to see a lace-up version, just because of the fact that a slip-on version you can't secure on the foot as well. So I found when I was walking around with it, it felt a little bit sloppy. I mean, it didn't feel, the heel is quite nicely padded back here, so I didn't feel that it was rubbing on my heel too much, and it wasn't causing a lot of issues with regards to, me feeling like there was a ton of pressure at the heel. But I did feel it was a little bit sloppy, especially because I have a narrow foot. Maybe if you have a wider foot, you won't notice that. But with a narrow foot, I found that it was a bit sloppy back here, and I would love to have a lace-up shoe so I can tighten it up and get it to feel more secure on my foot, right? The other thing that I noticed also is that the sole feels quite stiff, and I would have loved to have a little bit of a bevel at the heel portion right here, so that I can kind of roll into the step as opposed to feeling like there's this big sharp edge right here that I'm stepping on. And I found that was a little bit uncomfortable. It's obviously not, it didn't feel like I was able to roll through the step as nicely as I would want to. And, that way, maybe that's encouraging you to kind of step a little bit shorter so that you're not feeling the impact as much. But I found that if it was maybe a little bit of a bevel at the back, I would probably feel a little more comfortable stepping into the shoe and then walking from heel to toe, because it's, pretty flat back here. So therefore there's not really a lot of curve, and a lot of running shoes nowadays do have a little bit of curve at the back, so that as you're stepping on the heel, you can kind of roll onto the step as opposed to having to feel like a jarring motion at the back of the heel. I mean, everything else makes sense. I don't see anything wrong with that. It will definitely require a little bit more effort on your behalf to walk in this type of shoe. It's maybe not something that you're going to wear every day for work or all the time, because it's going to require definitely a lot more focus and a lot more attention for your feet and on your feet, to make sure that you're walking properly, right? You're not allowing your foot to fall in as much. And perhaps that's something that you want. Maybe you want to kind of really work on strengthening your foot arches and making sure that your feet are in great shape. And you want the shoe to kind of make you aware of the fact that you're being a bit lazy right now, right? So that's, potentially a great option to use something like this. But other than that, nice shoe. The quality is good. I mean, I would say it's a high, quality, firm sole profile on the bottom, which I don't think is going to wear out too fast. It's going to keep its shape very well. It's not like a soft EVA bottom that you would find in a running shoe. And the cool thing about that is that it's going to therefore keep its shape and allow you to continue to walk properly with this particular shoe, right? So it's not going to all of a sudden bottom out, and then now you're going to step outwards a bit more, or you're going to step inwards a bit more because you've bottomed and flattened out all the softer spots. So I get why they did make it a firmer sole and not a soft, cushy running shoe sole. It's because they're trying to keep the shape of the shoe as long as possible so that you know where to walk. Now, if you've got any questions regarding the Extend, please post them below. And if you haven't subscribed to us yet on YouTube, do so right over there or there. I don't know whichever corner that is. But anyway, have an excellent day.